Peace, love, and light, everybody. So I'm going to play this. It's from Mike Around the World, which is funny because I've been talking about this for a long time. Not all in one sitting, but I have absolutely, without a doubt, have been talking about exactly what he's saying here about Orion shield being breached. Here we go.
Already started this beginning. But there's an alert. There's an actual memo, right? There's a memo. There's a document set. It kind of like an emergency document set. There's a change in infrastructure. What do they call that? It's something like an emergency, but not quite that language, because it's understood that the Earth is about to go through that process again, and prior to getting to the point of the actual flip, right? Because the magnetic fielding of the Earth will begin to weaken. It'll go chaotic. It'll start to weaken, right? When it totally weakens, it's going to do so for 10 days. It'll disappear for 10 days. 10 days. And then it will come back. Right now, the sun is not going to go out in these 10 days.
Okay, so we're going to be inundated then. We have no shield, right. No protect. Okay.
Right. Okay. That means
we have no shield. Orion's shield has been breached, which is our magnetosphere. We're going to wobble. And I've been talking about this for a couple of years now. Through all my readings, all the messages I've received through the Archangel Michael, through God, creator of all that is. This guy just happens to be summing it up in one sitting, but I have been legit saying all this. And this is freaky, if you ask me. It's concerning. Orion's shield has been breached.
A lot of, for example, if a person is outside, it'll be like standing in a microwave if they're outside. We've had examples of this before in the northern regions of the Earth, specifically in 2004, 2006, 2007, where people stepped into the missing part of the atmosphere, and within, I think it was 15 seconds, they were cooked from the inside out. Cooked. So they were essentially microwaved.
This has happened.
That's already happened. There have been examples. There was they had off limits areas in the Arctic regions for a while, because of the missing ozone and a missing chunk of the atmosphere. Well, some folks got caught in that. And it was only for about 15 seconds, and they were burnt from the inside out.
Let me ask you, Mike, is the poles more dangerous than the rest of the Earth when it comes to this activity, or no?
Yes, because if they with this magnetic flip of the Earth, right? We don't have a magnetosphere during that time.
10 days.
Everything has to reorientate itself, and it takes about 10 days for that to happen, right? So we have no protection from the sun. None.
I don't know. None. I mean, this is big.
No, that's not a maybe. That's not,
it's going to happen.
That's not fear mongering. That's not anything. But I'm telling you, they know it's about to go chaotic. Right?
Yeah.
They know it's going chaotic. And even in the chaotic time, in these months that we're about to go through, because it can stay, so long as it's chaotic, various places are going to catch on fire. There'll be spontaneous fires. There'll be people with just hit with high doses of cancer. Right? It's not a very good time to go through. Right? We know that time is starting to begin. They know that time is starting to begin. And lots of contingencies will begin to go in place because of that. That leaves Earth vulnerable in many different ways. Many ways. I mean, beyond any other threat we've ever faced. So we don't need a solar flare. We don't need a CME. We don't need any of that. When it starts to go chaotic, the fires, thank God we have the oceans, but that's only going to protect us for a little while, because once that begins, we'll have a mass evaporation event of the oceans, right? That means fog everywhere. I mean, everywhere.
Fog.
And then, of course, after that, it also means prior to this event, Pastor Paul, prior to the magnetosphere going chaotic, everybody across the entire globe will see auroras. And it won't make sense, because they'll say, well, we didn't have a flare, didn't do this, we didn't have this, we didn't have that. How are we seeing this? It's going to be everywhere, right? This time is coming quicker than anticipated.
Well, here's a scripture in Revelation 16 that says in verse 8, and the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire. And men were scorched with great heat, and they blasphemed the name of God, which hath power over these plagues, and they repented not to give him glory. Is this a pole shift, or is this a magnetosphere shift?
It very well could be. It very well could be, right? The only difference would be this. Suppose that's another event that's even worse, right, than the magnetic flipping of the poles of the earth. Just imagine.
Okay.
Just imagine.
Okay.
Because God knows we've been through several events already. We've had the Carrington event already.
Yes.
And if all of us had a civilization, if we had civilization like this during that time, all of us would have said, oh, this is biblical, right?
Right.
But we know it was not. We know it was,
no, it
wasn't.
Things, it was early.
But it caused great damage.
Yeah.
World War I and II. People thought that was biblical. I believe it was part biblical. But what I'm saying, these events are working up to it. I believe when what you just read is going to be so devastating, right, that there is no way to describe that.
So, Mike, when do you see this event? This we're talking. We got this.
It's already begun. That process has already begun. And some of the letters, some of the memos that have just come out in the last 2 days, Pastor Paul, the language is quite alarming.
Tell me about this. Can you share any of this?
Well, no, I can't go into the memos.
Of course you can't. Because why would you do that?
So there's an alert going out.
This is not,
right.
This is not just talk.
Is this going out to the scientific community, or is it going to the governmental
agencies? These are.
They're all underground, basically. Long and short of it. They're all in their bunkers. Make no mistake about that. He is saying everything I have been talking about for years through just my connection and my meditations and my readings about the magnetosphere, about Orion shield being breached, which would be our magnetosphere, because Orion somehow is connected to that, or else everything wouldn't be pointing to Orion on Earth. And this is serious. This is very serious. I don't know what that means when our shield is breached. Clearly it's detrimental to us. Fires, I was picking up on fires. A lot of fires are going to happen. So he's honestly just confirming, not that I need that personally, but confirming everything I've been honestly talking about for years since the inception of this channel. We are in it now. It is happening. And I know it sounded like so out there to so many people because of the crap I got, but I trusted it, and I trusted, and I trusted, and here we are. And here we are. And this dude, because he's, government, FEMA, people are going to listen. I get that to a point, but some of us hear God. We're connected into the divine. We're here to get messages too. And I've been saying all of this all along. And this is quite alarming. This is very alarming. Our magnetosphere is going to be gone for 10 days. Supposedly it happened in 2004 and 5. And you know what's interesting? That's when Katrina happened in 05. That's when the tsunami happened in the Philippines, I believe in 04. So, hang on, guys. Hang on. This is serious.
Yeah, you can say they're agency level memos that went everywhere, and everybody has to read them, right? Anybody who gets them, they can't ignore them. Let's put it that way.
And this is more than one agency, it sounds like. It sounds like this is scattered out a little bit.
Yeah.
Is this around the world, or just more of an American thing we're talking about?
No, this is a global problem.
Okay.
This is a humanitarian problem.
Okay.
Humanity is the only one that's in the dark. The governments know everything that's going on, but screw the people. Screw humanity. Let's not tell them a thing. As everybody in the higher ups, well, what they think they are, they're not. They're all in their bunkers, underground, And they are. Anything you're seeing on TV from any kind of governmental official, presidential thing, that's all a distraction.
Local scale, right? That's what it really is. And so, is it survivable? Yes, but it's past ball. It's going to be not good.
Well,
Could you imagine forest fires? All these forest fires we've had. Can you imagine the entire Earth engulfed with forest fires?
kind of looking like this.
That would be bad, you know.
Yeah,
And so
bad.
this is what we're facing. So I was quite surprised when I saw the memo. The only thing I could think of was your webinar about this. Some of these solar events and things. It will, you know, that's good information for people. But we're in a time now, Pascal, where information is good to know. A lot of people will not have that information,
Right.
but it's also time for people to they have to start looking at the realistic consequences of these things.
Okay, so how can you look at the realistic consequences of things when you're not even alerting society, humanity, what the heck is going on? Because 99.999% of humanity is not even paying attention. It's the 0.1% of us who do things like channels like this and wherever else that you all been talking like we're crazy and we're on drugs and we're not. Been trying to warn you the best that we can that this shit's real. The sky in my lifetime has never looked like it does now. It's not even our sky anymore. You have the supernatural world now entering into our world. You can scientifically call it whatever you want. The reality is it's a supernatural event. Anything in scripture is all about a supernatural event taking place. Call it the magnetosphere, call it the sun, call it the moon, call it whatever you want. We're all still talking about the same thing. And I've been picking up on fires. I think it was even in my last reading, like fires. I've been picking up. I even think there's a reading in there that is basically saying everything that he's saying about the magnetosphere, about the flip, all of it. And this is FEMA. They're all around the world. They're all set up. They know what's going to go on. Make no mistake about that. The military is set up and positioned all around the world because they're aware. It's only society and humanity that's in the dark. And it's not funny. It really isn't. It's absolutely disgusting that they have not alerted the public at all. This should have been a constant discussion for decades. For decades, the public should have been alerted that this is going to take place. But instead, what they did was they downplayed it. So anyone that did talk about it, they would try to discredit you that you didn't know what you were talking about. But yet, you know, many of us have been filming for a long time now, even before YouTube, and paying attention to like, something's not right here. Something's going on here. These storms, never in my lifetime have this been just the tornadoes alone. I've never seen that many tornadoes, and they don't go away. They don't. They keep coming back stronger. And we're going to see storms that are off the Fujito scale. They're not going to be F5s anymore. They're going to be higher. They're going to be category more, what is it? Five, even I think it's even category 5 hurricane. I think it's going to be even higher than that. For 10 days, the Orion shield was breached. That would be the magnetosphere.
Because a lot of people will live through it, probably yes, but it's not going to feel good, right? It's not going to be one of those comfortable things that people go through. And because we've never gone through that before, nobody knows the extent of
Wait. He just said we never went through this before, but back here he says we went through it in 2004 and 2005. So which is it, Mike, around the world?
Or is it going? And they repented.
So we don't.
This is from Brandon Nagleys' channel.
People stepped in to the missing part of the atmosphere emergency. Don't tell you about this. I doubt they can't tell anybody about this because you have folks that understand what that means. We have solar wind.
You can't tell anyone. Listen to him. You can't tell anyone about this. Screw society. Screw humanity. Let's not tell them. Let's not tell them. That's just beautiful. That's just beautiful.
That are constantly blowing on the earth. Without a CME, just the standard solar winds, without a magnetosphere, would set everything sunlight touches on fire.
So what you just said is just, mind-boggling. Okay. So you're saying this webinar, we got a lot of great speakers, of course, and Mike, and your presentation is just, just off the chain, awesome. Talk to us a minute again. You're saying the sun is going to do some. No, you're saying our magnetosphere is going to what? Disappear?
That's right.
Is that a post shift?
Magnetosphere.
What is
That'll be? You know how you've heard people say, well, if the Earth has a magnetic
We're
field,
gonna
it's
wobble.
no big deal, right? Isn't that what they said?
Yes.
It's just no big deal. It's not a physical flame. It's just a magnetic north will change, this, that, and the other, right?
Right.
They lied, or they didn't know what they were talking about, right? We're about to go through this process. The process has already started. It's beginning. But there's
If you don't know who Mike around the world is, he is FEMA. He's an agent that works for FEMA that tries to stay under the radar and reports of what's going on. No offense, I don't need Mike around the world because I've been talking about this for a long time. He just happens to be summarizing what everybody on Earth should know about, and it's not funny. This is not funny at all. This is very serious to not let the general public know about the magnetosphere, to treat humanity like that. That's like crimes against humanity. That's not cool.
Alert. There's an actual memo, right? There's a memo. There's a document set. It kind of like an emergency document set. There's a change in infrastructure. What do they call that? It's something like an emergency, but not quite that language, because it's understood that the Earth is about to go through that process again, and prior to getting to the point of the actual flip, right? Because the magnetic shielding of the Earth will begin to weaken. It'll go chaotic. It'll start to weaken.
We're
right?
gonna wobble.
When it totally weakens, it's going to do so for 10 days. It'll disappear for 10 days.
10 days.
And then it will come back. Right? Now, the sun is not going to go out in these 10 days.
Okay, so we're going to be inundated then. We have no shield, no protect.
Right.
Okay.
That means a lot of, for example, if a person is outside, it'll be like standing in a microwave if they're outside. We've had examples of this before in the northern regions of the Earth, specifically in 2004, 2006, 2007, where people stepped into the missing part of the atmosphere, and within, I think it was 15 seconds, they were cooked from the inside out. Cooked.
You don't hear that on your local news channel now, do you?
So they were essentially microwaved.
This has happened.
That's already happened. There have been examples. There was they had off limits areas in the Arctic regions for a while because of the missing ozone and a missing chunk of the atmosphere. Well, some folks got caught in that, and it was only for about 15 seconds, and they were burnt from the inside out.
Let me ask you, Mike, is the poles more dangerous than the rest of the Earth when it comes to this activity, or no?
Yes, because if they with this magnetic flip of the Earth, right? We don't have a magnetosphere during that time.
10 days.
Everything has to reorientate itself, and it takes about 10 days for that to happen, right? So we have no protection from the sun, none.
I don't even know.
None.
I mean, this is. No,
that's not a maybe. That's not.
It's going to happen.
That's not fear mongering. That's not anything. But I'm telling you, they know it's about to go chaotic, right?
Yeah.
They know it's going chaotic, and even in the chaotic time, in these months that we're about to go through, because it can stay so long as it's chaotic, various places are going to catch on fire. There'll be spontaneous fires. There'll be people with just hit with high doses of cancer, right? It's not a very good time to go through, right? We know that time is starting to begin. They know that time is starting to begin, and lots of contingencies.
Hey, Louisiana Sky.
We're going to go in
I'm
place.
glad you're listening. It's important.
That leaves Earth vulnerable in many different ways. Many ways. I mean, beyond any other threat we've ever faced. So we don't need a solar flare. We don't need a CME. We don't need any of that. When it starts to go chaotic, the fires, thank God we have the oceans, but that's only going to protect us for a little while, because once that begins, we'll have a mass evaporation event of the oceans, right? That means fog everywhere. I mean, everywhere.
Fog.
And then, of course, after that, it also means prior to this event, Pastor Paul, prior
Yes.
to the magnetosphere going chaotic, everybody across the entire globe will see auroras. And it won't make sense, because they'll say, well, we didn't have a flare, didn't do this, we didn't have.
Okay, so the magnetosphere, which is connected to Orion, which I've been talking about for a while, that would be like the wall, okay, that they call like the wall, to be able to keep things out versus, and to keep, well, yeah, to keep us protected, is going to be gone for 10 days. I don't know when. He doesn't say specifically. This is very serious. He does say in here, but then he backtracks. So, you know, take it, but I do believe what he's saying about the magnetosphere. He said a similar situation happened like this in 04 and 05, like I was saying a few minutes ago. And that's when Hurricane Katrina happened, was in 05. And in 04, I believe it was 04. It might have been, no, it was 04, with the Philippines having a tsunami. And we're already having like a ridiculous amount of storms. It's basically, he's summarizing everything I've been picking up on all this time and sharing on the channel. And I'm so grateful that I actually shared it on the channel, because it's all documented. I mean, I may not be Mike from around the world, but I've been documenting this for a reason, because this has taken place, and this is, we're going to wobble. There's no way we're not going to wobble. And he doesn't say exactly like when. And the fact that like they're not letting humanity know. And again, this is something that should have been back in 1980, it was 80 or 81. They printed in the newspaper, all major newspapers, all small newspapers, all major newspapers, about the heavenly ones returning, the Sumerians. It was in the newspaper. You know, Nibiru, Wormwood. Then you never saw it again. And then it was seen in the 50s, coming up underneath. So that tells me kind of it's in the water. I don't know how to explain that, but like from the water, it came up underneath the west coast. And it was seen, you know, like Isis's wings, which is Wormwood, Nibiru. I don't know, maybe they're two different things. Either way, it was seen. It was on the cover of like Science Weekly back in the 50s. So to treat society in public like, shh, it's a secret, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take all their tax money and we're going to build bunkers underneath the earth. And we're going to save our own ass and screw them. We're not going to say a word to them, instead of preparing society all along for this event. I don't know, I think that's pretty shitty and shady.
We didn't have that. How are we seeing this? It's going to be everywhere, right? This time is coming a little quicker than anticipated.
Well, here's a scripture in Revelation 16 that says in verse 8, and the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire.
Yes, they are
And
making
men were
plenty of
scorched
distractions.
with great heat, and they blasphemed the name of God, which hath power over these plagues, and they repented not to give him glory. Is this a pole shift, or is this a magnetosphere shift?
It very well could be. It very well could be, right? The only difference would be this. Just suppose that's another event that's even worse, right, than the magnetic flipping of the poles of the earth. Just imagine.
Okay.
Just imagine.
Okay.
Because God knows we've been through several events already. We've had the Carrington event already.
Yes.
And if all of us had a civilization, if we had civilization like this during that time, all of us would have said, oh, this is biblical, right?
Right.
But we know it was not. We know it was, you don't want those things,
it was
but it caused great damage.
Yeah.
World War I and II, people thought that was biblical. I believe it was part biblical, but what I'm saying, these events are working up to it. I believe when what you just read is going to be so devastating, right, that there is no way to describe that.
So,
There's just
Mike,
no way
when
to
do
do
you
that.
see this event is, we're talking this, we got this already.
Here's the thing. I want to just point out politely. We're listening to a pastor. I'm not hearing God in any of this. I never hear God in any of this. I hear him read scripture, and I'm not saying this to be a jerk. It's just that, like, nothing on earth, this goes back to, there's going to come a time that nothing on earth can help you or save you, right? That would be, so then what do? You would turn to God, creator of all that is, that's connected to your soul. I'm not hearing God in any of this conversation, considering it's from a pastor and an agent, but I do take what he's saying seriously. And this event is, and I said over the summertime, I was picking up on that months ago, like fires, the storms before, like, people were picking up on the weather pattern. That's why I document it, because I trust what I'm picking up on. And it's hard to grasp sometimes, and especially about the magnetosphere, and that was Orion's shield being breached. So when all else goes on, trust and rely on God, creator of all that is. And this isn't a religious stick. Like, I'm not hearing God in any of this. God's got this. God's got this. No fear. God's got this. This all has to take place because it's broken. It's a broken template. It has to be reset. And this is the things that happen for this reset. And it's serious. I mean, there's going to be more earthquakes. And within those 10 days, definitely, we're going to wobble. There's no doubt about it. We're going to wobble. And, just armor up in your faith, because that's all you got. Realistically, worldly things are just that. They're worldly. They're not soul. Know your soul and armor up. I'm not saying I'm not going to be one of those people, no offense to those, but maybe it is offensive, I don't know, but I could be like, oh, repent. No, just get connected with your soul. If you're not connected with your soul, and get reacquainted with God. For you are God, creator of all that is, having a temporary human experience, and we're going through it. And these people, these governments, and these political crap that's been going on is all a distraction. They're all in their bunkers. They've built worlds under the earth off of the slave back, if you will, off of taxes, off of everything, buying off land, all of it. It's really discussing the fact that they have not been preparing society all along. Believe me, they know this is going to take place. They've known all along. They've been preparing all along. There is military positioned all around the world. They know this is going to take place. Remember back in 2020 when a lot of channels were showing about FEMA, right? And the things that they were making, and it was highly disturbing, and they were distributing it as the world was shut down. People were filming, like, military using the train rail system and shipping, setting up FEMA camps, if you will, and caskets. That's why. They kept correlating it to, C-19, and it had nothing to do with that. It has to do with this right here. They know what is going to take place. They have all along. And they have kept it a secret from society, humanity, which is crimes against humanity. It's disgusting. It really is. This is not any, that's why I'm not into politics. It's all a distraction. Your vote really doesn't matter. It doesn't. That's the illusion. It doesn't matter. This is all predictive programming. So, I just wanted to share this with everybody because it's absolutely important, and it aligns with everything I've been sharing, and it's mind-blowing to me. Because, I'm not a government agent. I'm not an underground anything. I'm just little me, connected and love God, and I get these messages, and I share them with you, and I'm not about views. or anything like that for any of you been with me. I don't care about that crap. It's you're meant to be here with me, and I'm meant to be here with you for a reason to share this information. And I always say it will always materialize. It will always appear. It will always be validated. And this is really like validating a lot of information I've been picking up on over the years and sharing on the channel. And it's a sit you down moment because I take it serious. Yeah, I'm not a fan either, sister. I'm not. Nope. But I find this information is important. No, I don't even. Any person that wears sunglasses, all the. Yeah, just. I'm not even going to go there. Me neither. But you got to take the information, take what you need, leave the rest.
That process has already begun. And some of the letters, some of the memos that have just come out in the last 2 days, Pastor Paul, the language is quite alarming.
Tell me about this. Can you share
Right.
any of
Well,
this?
no, I can't go into the memos.
He's always selling something. Considering, the Lord Christ isn't about material stuff. Ever, ever, ever. It's funny how they make money off of going. I just can't even go there anymore. It's disgusting.
I can tell you a memo has been, there have been some memos issued.
So there's an alert going out.
This is not,
Right.
This is not just talk.
Is this going out to the scientific community, or is it going to the governmental
agencies? These are, you could say they're agency level memos that went everywhere, and everybody has to read them, right? Anybody who gets them, they can't ignore them. Let's put it that way.
And this is more than one agency, it sounds like. It sounds like this is scattered out a little bit.
Yeah.
Is this around the world or just more of an American thing we're talking about?
No, this is a global problem.
Okay.
This is a humanitarian problem of biblical scale, right?
Of mass proportion.
So, is it survivable? Yes, but it's past ball. It's going to be not good.
Well,
could you imagine?
Look at the entity. I'm going to show you the entity. Look at this entity. If you can see it, the sockets, the face.
Forest fires, all these forest fires we've had. Can you imagine the entire Earth engulfed with forest fires?
Kind of looking like this.
So now these things, these energies are going to be able to, they have been taking form. They've been using the matter because the magnetosphere, the shield, has been breached. That's the break. Someone asked me that a while ago in the comments. Can you just explain? Well, I've been explaining on this channel for years of what I'm talking about. That's the wall. That's what they're breaking through. The magnetosphere going down. That's connected to Ra being here. Ra. And that's connected to APAP and some other like phenomenal level that we haven't been privy to. It is now happening. That goes along with CERN. These are the supernatural world. Thank you for the validation. The supernatural world melding into our world at mass proportions. And that's the breaking of the fourth wall, if you will. The breaking down of the fourth wall. But we're definitely going to wobble. We're going to wobble. And, this is about just preparing, not being in fear. Or, God's got this. God's got this. And this isn't a religious stick, man. This is God's got this. This all has to take place for a reason. And unfortunately, humanity has been treated like we don't matter by not telling us and not preparing. And for those who have been preparing, it's because your soul knows. For the most part, your soul knows. Your soul knows. Your soul knows the way home. It's just whether you were listening to it or not. And so I just wanted to share this. I felt it's absolutely important, and it aligns with everything I've been talking about on this through the messages I've been receiving and the certain decks that I've been using to show about the magnetosphere had come up. The fires have been coming up. The storms. And they're just going to increase, unfortunately. So I don't know when this is supposed to take place. Is it already taken place? I don't think he really says this, but I'll continue playing this for a minute.
That would be bad,
Yeah,
and so this is what we're facing.
And this is from Brandon Nagleys. I just want to
I was quite
also
surprised
say
when
that.
I saw the memo. The only thing I could think of was your webinar about this some of these solar events and things. It will, that's good information for people, but we're in a time now, Pascal, where information is good to know. A lot of people will not.
See how that's taken on form now. It's able to. It's able to take on form where I don't know if it was able to before or not, but it's taken on form now. It's using the plasma, and it really just connects the dots for personally for me of everything how I've been seeing it, understanding it, and trying to articulate it. And this guy just happens to be here's the thing: we didn't need a memo. Me and you, people like me and you, we didn't need a memo. We feel it in our soul. The memo is nice, don't get me wrong, but this guy's, he knows what's up. And it's just a shame that humanity's been treated that way. That we're the best kept secret from ourselves. We're the best kept secret from ourselves. It's like the joke's on us, and it's not a joke. It's serious. I'm going to continue playing this.
Have that information.
Right.
But it's also time for people to they have to start looking at the realistic consequences of these things. Because a lot of people will live through it, probably yes, but it's not going to feel good. Right? It's not going to be one of those comfortable things that people go through. And because we've never gone through that before, nobody knows the extent of what.
Okay. I guess that ran out, but it's a bullseye. And we're the bullseye. And it's breaking down all the matter. It's breaking down the fascia, the matter, so it can reform. It's going to be interesting. And that really makes sense to me from what I was picking up on, like, last night and talking about with the how all this equipment they have around the world is a larger scale of like what you would call a paranormal investigation. To document, to record this supernatural event that's taken place on a prophecy biblical proportion. All the world's a stage. So they are definitely documenting it with all of their equipment. Call it water towers, call it, internet, EMF. It's amazing how they have sold it one way and marketed it one way for your television, for your internet. The ruse is on you, society, as we're using the radar. That radar is like that green, like I've shown in that video last night that they use in paranormal investigations so that you can see it, the entity, the spirit moving through the grid. That's what that's some of what the radar is for, so that they can keep an eye on it. In Louisiana sky, you've been picking up on that bullseye. So what they're doing is they're mapping out to see what is there because they can't see it. So they're using it for the unseen to make it seen, along with it's used as a weapon too, and it is. It's used as like an interference of the magnetic energy that whatever these vessels and ships, a true UFO uses the magnetic energy that's how you know it's a real UFO, because of the way it moves, the energy around it, everything. And that radar will like take it down. It'll take it down. And I think that's what was captured in Ohio, because I kept saying Ohio, that's a significant area. It's a portal, it's a flap, it's significant. Over the river, over the rivers, it needs the rivers because that's a conductor. This whole place is a conductor. If you think about it, this entire place is a huge conductor for paranormal activity. That's why we're in a graveyard. When that video with that thing, whatever that was, it looked like, honestly, something got shot down, that we're not used to seeing. And even the sound of it wasn't a wire that came down. It was a light flashed, something came through, and it got disintegrated through the atmosphere and captured on camera. That's paranormal. So, yeah, I just want to this is from Brandon Nagley. I'm grateful, that he posts
It's
this
just,
stuff because I don't watch
mind-boggling.
Pastor
Okay.
Paul.
So you're saying this webinar?
I can't,
we got a lot
no
of great
offense, I can't
speakers, of course. And Mike,
watch
you're
him.
Just so that folks understand this,
Okay, let's get.
without the magnetosphere, we're going to be, many things will be set on fire, right?
Okay.
We're about to undergo a magnetosphere moment where
Interesting,
our
Louisiana
magnetosphere becomes
sky.
quite.
I'm reading what you're saying. That is interesting. When the rings that you catch are at Fort Polk, everything changes weather-wise when they show up on radar. I believe it. They're amping it up there. So they're seeding it, or they're sending off an energy frequency to add to it, like an EMF pump. Okay, like when you know you have spiritual activity in a location, you would bring nowadays you can bring an EMF pump so that energy can use that pump to form more, to whether it's a physical apparition or it gives that energy some juice, basically. So that's what they're doing with seeding, what they call seeding and harp, and with the radar. They're giving these spiritual beings a little extra juice now, and it's no joke. And now this stuff with the water, we don't even know what that anomaly is. Like, we haven't even gotten there yet, but yeah, we're gonna wobble. They do. And I think that's a battle. Some of these storms are a battle. Oh, I wanted to show you that. Hold on, before I wrap this up, I wanted to show you, well, whoever sees this. Let's see. Where did it go? Okay, right here. Let me turn on the volume real quick. Because this is like freaking stellar, man. If I can find it, just give me a second. And this is from the, just give me a second here. It's amazing, and it shows. Well, they say it's a planet connecting to the Earth. Okay, this is from the Nibiru crew. That's Labradorite right there. They're saying that's a planet. Maybe. I don't, but I don't think so. To me, that's like some kind of portal opening up. Okay. But that's not what I wanted to show you. Just give me one more second. They have this capture that's really amazing of a storm. And I'm hoping I can find it. I wasn't planning on using any of their footage. And now they're finally saying it's supernatural. It's like, okay. Well, he didn't want to hear that before. But it's okay. Everyone catches up when they're catch up. That dude knows what more is going on. You can see, like, okay, well, like, that's a being back here. I mean, it's just all supernatural, and it's even in scripture that it's really a supernatural event, but a lot of people don't talk about that. And I get it, because it's you live in a 3D world, and it's hard to grasp. All right, sorry, okay, this is one of them. Okay, right here. Right here. This thing. Look at this. I mean, that's something that landed, if you ask me. And they show, they're trying to say it's that too. I see a huge face right here. I see the profile. I'm sorry, I just don't, I'm not sorry, I don't see planets. I really, honest to God, don't. I just see the supernatural energy happening here. They have an actual visual of the storm with the lightning that should be popping up. This is amazing. That's a ship right there. I mean, come on. I mean, maybe it's more than that, but that's, like, those look like, don't they look like steeples and things like that from these old churches, which weren't originally churches? They're energy. They're harnessing energy. These ancient, old churches that they use, that's all, harmonics, I'm hearing. It's used for harmonics, frequency, for things to come through, like Babylon, if you will, how they built that to try to connect into heaven. It's all, it's instruments. It's not really it's a building, but it's really an instrument that we think is a building. I mean, there's a lot in this that I haven't, oh, okay, sorry. Look at this thing. I mean, like, that's a hand. All right, that's a hand. That's some, like reaching in, okay? Well, that could be part of a dragon too, actually. It's got the texture of it. But it's taking on, right here, it's taking on the matter from our world to form in our world, which clearly is creating storms. And yet we have more back going on in here that we can't really even see. But that's like ectoplasma, supernatural. It does look like part of it. It looks like a serpent, a hand. It's like, it's for. Oh, it even has. Hold on, it even has the disc. It's a hand. It's a hand. Look at. It even has the piece that the Sumerians wear. You see that right there? It has it on its wrist. That is interesting. This right here, I wanted to show you. Look at that. That to me that's connecting. Could be a battle. There's a lot going on in that. And it ain't just lightning. I mean, that's something taking place. Energy exchange, matter exchange. That thing is massive. I don't know where this was taken. And this is from, the people who follow Sam Hoffman. And they really think it's planets. They're not talking about, they're starting to talk about it a little bit, about this supernatural. It's all supernatural event. I'm going to slow this down because there's a lot happening in this actual situation here. It's definitely some kind of battle going on here. Wow. I'm going to even slow it down just a smidge more. I just study this stuff, it's just part of who I am. I really want to understand, because I don't believe the lie. I never did. It's a big two beings right there. I just want to get the whole thing in this. There's a lot in this. And I'll go through this and do something separate on this alone, because this is a whole video in itself, but I just wanted to share it with all of you that it's more than just a storm. And heaven and earth are meeting. Heaven and earth are coming together. That's a huge portal right here. So, I don't know what happened. Hold on. What happened? Yeah, this is a huge, portal. And when something comes through a portal, it'll create electricity, it'll create storms. It's big. There's a lot to it. So I just wanted to share that with all of you. You know, I hope everyone's doing well out there in the world. Armor up. Stay blessed. Stay true to who you are. Just be a good person. That's all. That's all any of us can do. Just do the best you can. Keep your side of the street clean. Trust and rely on power greater than yourself. And I just thought that was interesting considering that was a pastor and there was no mention of God. So, you know what I mean? Just things I just noticed. That's all. Peace, love, and light, everybody.